World Crisis Radio. Keep up with my work at Tarpley.net. Tarpley.net. We'll have a commentary by the time you hear this, a Russia Today commentary on Labor Day and the state of the U.S. labor movement. Not good, thanks to sellouts like Andy Stern of the SEIU, who's now a member of the BS Commission, the Cat Food Commission, or Bowles-Simpson BS Commission. Andy Stern, great radical unionist, oh boy, wants to invest your Social Security money in Wall Street toxic paper, which even individuals don't want to do anymore. Nobody in his right mind puts money into the stock market anymore after the flash crash of May 6th of this year, and also thanks to Andy Stern splitting the union movement. Anyway, under the common law, a common carrier, meaning a stagecoach, a bus, a railroad, a steamship, a sailboat, whatever it is, a common carrier is subject to regulation because it is quasi-public in nature. If you say admission, to go from point A to point B is 5 cents, you're making it public. It's open to everybody. It's therefore subjected to regulation. Take that back to the controversy about the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and whether government can regulate things such as privately owned bus lines, transportation facilities. Yeah, they can. And that then extends into restaurants and hotels. Otherwise, no progress realized. Now, by the time we get into the 1920s, we got the Palmer raids, right? Mitchell Palmer. This is a terrible time. You've got the Ku Klux Klan as a mass organization targeting unions, along with Catholics, Jews, and blacks. This spreads quite a bit, even into northern areas. And we've got the Palmer raids, which is essentially a witch hunt based on Bolsheviks hiding under the bed by Mitchell Palmer, the Attorney General for Woodrow Wilson, the Wall Street puppet. And they essentially have a reign of terror where they put all these people in jail, Eugene V. Debs and the rest of them. So this essentially means that during the 1920s, you've got a period of retreat and indeed rout by organized labor. And I would urge people, take a look at, in addition to my own books, of course, there's a very interesting novel, not much remembered today. This is by Upton Sinclair, and it's a short book. It's about 100 pages. Upton Sinclair, The Flivver King, A Story of Ford America, published by Charles H. Kerr, Kerr, Publishing of Chicago. They say that they're the oldest labor publisher in the United States. Take a look at this book. It's balanced. In other words, it's about the guy who grows up with Henry Ford, and it's balanced in the sense that it shows the positive features of Henry Ford, that he's an inventor, that he wants to produce, that he wants to pay high wages, that he wants to lower the cost of the cars that he produces so more people can buy them, that he hates Wall Street, fights Wall Street, tries to stop World War I. But as time goes on, the $1 billion that he's got warps him and perverts him into monstrous directions that we don't need to go through. But this is a book that was written in 1937, and if you open it up, you'll see Walter Reuther, right, the head of the United Auto Workers, saying this book, The Flivver King, by Upton Sinclair, the best single organizational document ever written. Ford workers read this book aloud to their families. The Flivver King helped found our union. And you got Victor Reuther and quite a number of other people. That union didn't get recognized until 1941 because of the stubborn anti-union reactionary prejudice of Henry Ford, who wanted paternalism, and he tried that until about 1920 and then gave it up. In the Depression, of course, you get the complete rout of labor, but then some strikes begin to develop, right? The mass strike dynamic studied by Rosa Luxemburg. Very interesting books that she's written, The Mass Strike Party and Unions, which is a study of the Russian Revolution of 1905. But then we go on, and this same idea comes to the United States, and we've been seeing that all through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and into the new 20th century. At the beginning of the New Deal, the attempt to do something for labor takes the form of the National Recovery Act. problematic in a number of ways. Problematic in particular, the labor parts are not problematic, but the business parts are. What's in the NRA is what was demanded by business, by Wall Street, and by industrialists themselves. They demanded cartels. They demanded cartelization as a means to limit production and to keep prices down, because this was their theory of how to end the Depression. And this was General Hugh Johnson, the head of the NRA, with the Blue Eagle. However, the positive side of the NRA, which had to be salvaged, was Section 7A, labor standards. You have the right to organize a union. The government will not prevent you from doing it. They'll actually give you modest forms of help. You have a right to collective bargaining, and if you've got tremendous grief, then you've got to go to the National Labor Relations Board, created by the Guffey-Snyder Act, which was overturned by the 9 old men, right, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the reactionary Supreme Court. And then when that was overturned also, you get the Wagner Act. And this is the real Bill of Rights for labor. The Wagner-Connery National Labor Relations Act, 1935. You have a right to organize. You have a right to collective bargaining. And that's, today, it's undermined somewhat by the Taft-Hartley Act, but it's still there. 1938, Wages and Hours Act, a minimum wage, your economic rights for the first time, and in many industries in interstate commerce, an 8-hour day. So that struggle from the 1870s until almost 1940, it's a 60 to 70-year struggle to get what you may take for granted today, but which nobody ever could. In this time, contributing to this is the emergence of the CIO, the Congress of Industrial Organizations. This is definitely turning away from the craft union, artisan, narrow specializations, and political inertia of the AFL under Gompers and then under William Green, and it becomes the Congress of Industrial Organizations, CIO. John L. Lewis, United Mine Workers, one of the key leaders. On the West Coast, Harry Bridges, International Longshoremen's Association, starting from San Francisco. The founding of the modern form of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the Minneapolis General Strike, led by Farrell Dobbs and Skoglund in 1934. So general strikes in San Francisco, in Minneapolis, and then the sit-down strikes, the formation of the United Auto Workers at General Motors and Chrysler. So we get the Toledo Auto Light strike in the sort of the subcontracting part of the automobile industry. But then in December of 1936, we get the sit-down strikes at the GM plants in Flint, with the wives joining in and the families joining in, and that creates the United Auto Workers, for many years the flagship of the U.S. labor movement, now largely destroyed by Obama with the help of the corrupt Gettelfinger leadership. And then, even in the middle of this, as a result of the sit-down strikes in Detroit, United States Steel, in March of 1937, accepts the existence of the United Steel Workers of America. So we get the capitulation of Big Steel. Big Steel is willing to say, okay, we give up, you can have a union. But Little Steel, this is now Republic Steel and some other smaller ones, they are wage gouging, union busting in the extreme, so they fight hard, and it takes a long time to get them to come around. And in the middle of all this, we get this William Green of the AFL saying, oh, my God, the CIO, they're going too far, they're too radical, they're discrediting our movement. For a time in here, you've got Governor Frank Murphy of Michigan, who is mildly pro-union. It's a time around the world when you get some progress. The French Popular Front, Léon Blum, the French General Strike of June 1936 leads to the 8-hour day in France and to the existence of vacations. That's where the French vacation comes from. They fought for it, they got it. You want it, you fight for it, you'll get it. Back in a minute.